You know that vacuum that promises to raise your carpet pile and pull out dirt you didn't even know was hiding in there? This one actually does that. But there's a catch nobody puts in the marketing photos, and it's the exact same thing that makes it so powerful in the first place. Welcome to Sweep Gear, where we dig into the research so you don't have to guess whether a vacuum is actually worth your money. Today we're looking at the Dyson Ball Animal 3 Extra. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly whether it belongs in your home. If you've got a shedding dog or cat, you already know the feeling. You vacuum the living room, it looks clean, and 20 minutes later, there's a tumbleweed of fur rolling across the floor like nothing happened. Or you kneel down and realize there's still a layer of dirt sitting right at the base of the carpet fibers that your old vacuum just skated over. That's the exact problem this machine is built to solve. And if you've got pets or allergies in the house, you already know why it matters. It's not just about looks. Trapped dander and embedded dirt are a real irritation for anyone with allergies, and a constant low-grade frustration for anyone who's proud of a clean home. So let's start with the number that gets talked about most with this vacuum: suction. Dyson rates it at 290 air watts, and hands-on performance data backs that up. This machine consistently measures among the strongest usable suction of any upright vacuum out there. That's not just a spec sheet flex either. In real testing, it pulled up 78% of ground-in pet hair on low-pile carpet and 82% on high-pile carpet. Those are genuinely strong numbers, and they explain why so many pet owners search for this model by name. Now, strong suction on its own doesn't mean much if the brush roll turns into a hair-covered mess after 2 uses. Historically, that's been Dyson's weak spot. But this generation includes something called hair removal vanes, which physically comb hair off the roller as it spins instead of letting it wrap and build up. Testing with both short and long hair showed almost no tangling, even with hair over a foot long. If you've ever grabbed scissors to cut hair out of a brush roll, you already understand why that matters. Here's something that gets far less attention than it deserves. This vacuum uses whole machine filtration, sealed well enough to trap 99.97% of particles down to 0.3 microns before any air gets pushed back into your home. Most of the marketing leans on suction and pet hair, but if anyone in your house deals with allergies, this filtration detail might matter more day to day than anything else on this list. It's the kind of feature that doesn't show up in a highlight reel, but shows up in how your house actually feels to breathe in. Let's talk about something you won't find in a glossy product photo, though. This vacuum has one of the smaller dustbins in its class, around 1.6 to 1.7 liters, compared to a category average closer to 2.5. For a machine built to pick up heavy amounts of pet hair, that's a real trade-off, and we'll come back to how much that actually matters in a minute. There's also a mechanical detail most reviews skip right past, and it's worth understanding before you ever turn this thing on. The cleaner head has adjustable gates on the front, open or closed, depending on the floor. Closed gates give you maximum sealed suction, ideal for low-pile carpet and ground-in dirt. But run it in that closed setting on thick plush carpet, and it can actually bog down and get tough to push. Open the gates, and it glides through thick carpet and handles bigger debris with ease, though you trade off some of that peak suction. Once you understand that switch, a lot of this thing is exhausting to push complaints out there start to make a lot more sense. It's often a setting issue, not just raw weight. Although weight is still part of this story, the vacuum comes in at 17.3 pounds, and repeated hands-on evaluations flag it as one of the more physically demanding uprights to push, especially on carpet. The ball steering system does make turning corners genuinely easy. It's a clever piece of engineering, and it works. But turning easily and pushing easily are two different things, and moving this across a bedroom of deep pile carpet takes real effort. If you've got multiple floors to cover, or you simply prefer a lighter machine, that's worth sitting with for a second. Noise is another honest trade-off. Measured noise levels have varied depending on mode and method, but the consistent takeaway is that this isn't a quiet vacuum. Dyson's own support team has said as much directly to customers. If you've got a napping baby or thin apartment walls, keep that in mind. Which brings us back to that small bin. In a lighter shedding household, it's a minor inconvenience. But with multiple pets, or during a full deep clean, you may find yourself emptying it more often than you'd like. The upside is that emptying itself is fast. One button ejects the bin hygienically without you needing to touch the mess directly. So, yes, you'll do it more often, but at least it takes 2 seconds when you do. If you're weighing this against other options in the same price range, you can check today's price and current listings through the link in the description below. Now let's talk reliability, because this is where the story gets genuinely mixed. Some long-term owners report years of trouble-free use, running this machine through multiple pets in multiple years without a single issue. Others have reported early build quality concerns, things like creaking or flexing under pressure. Neither experience looks universal, and there's no clear pattern pointing to widespread defects. What tips the scale here is the warranty. Dyson backs this machine with a 5-year parts and labor warranty and lifetime customer support, which meaningfully lowers your risk if something does go wrong early on. There's one other upright that keeps coming up in the same breath as this one, and it deserves a direct comparison, the Shark Vertex. Put head to head, these two machines land remarkably close. The Dyson actually edges ahead on raw suction and posts a near perfect result in deep carpet cleaning. But the Shark Vertex pulls ahead on included features, like its powered lift-away mode and self-cleaning brush roll, and it's easier to live with day-to-day thanks to its lighter weight. Add it all up, and the Shark Vertex comes out slightly on top overall, but it's close enough that either one is a reasonable choice depending on what matters more to you. So, who should actually buy the Dyson Ball Animal 3 Extra? If more than half your home is carpeted, if you're dealing with heavy shedding pets, or if filtration for allergies is a real priority, this vacuum earns its spot. The suction is genuinely excellent. The hair tangle problem that plagued older Dyson models has actually been fixed, and the long reach, 35 feet of cord plus 15 feet of hose, means you're not constantly hunting for outlets while cleaning stairs or moving between rooms. But if your home is mostly hard flooring, if a heavier vacuum is a deal breaker, or if a bigger dustbin and a larger accessory kit matter more to you than maximum suction, the Shark Vertex is a genuinely strong alternative worth cross-shopping before you decide. At full retail price, this one's a tougher sell given how close the Shark comparison is. But it's also routinely available well below that sticker price, and at that lower price point, the value case gets a lot stronger. This isn't a vacuum for everyone, and it was never going to be. But if your home and your priorities line up with what it does best, it's one of the more capable upright vacuums you can put in a pet-heavy household. If this helped you figure out whether it's the right fit for your home, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to Sweep Gear for more honest, research-backed reviews. And I'd love to know, is your place mostly carpet or mostly hard floors? Drop it in the comments because that one detail changes which vacuum on this channel is actually right for you.